Shalom. All praises go to the Most High Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahashai, Ba'ashem Barakadash, double honors unto the elder apostles and great millstone for the teachings of the scriptures, among other things. Shalom to the sincere Akim across the world. This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 17, titled King David, or actually it says David and Goliath. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 1. Now the Philistines were gathered together. The Philistines gathered together their armies to battle, and were gathered together at Shochem, or Shochosh, or Shocho, which belongeth to Judah, and pitched between Shocho and Azekah in Ephes Dammim. And Saul and the men of Israel were gathered together, and pitched by the valley of Elah, or Elah, and set the battle in array against the Philistines. By the way, the Philistines are the sons of Mizraim, living in the midst of the sons of Canaan, which are their brothers. And the Philistines stood on the mountain on the one side, and Israel stood on the mountain on the other side, which is here. They stood here, the Israelites, and the Philistines stood here. So here is Philistia, which is the place of the Philistines, which we could not conquer because of the sins of the Israelites. Later in the time of King Solomon, he did conquer them. But then Lebanon was left as for the Canaanites because we couldn't conquer them. And they were also big people, giants. They built very big things like this. In the scriptures, it's called Baal Gad, but here it's called Baal. But nowadays, it's called Baal Bek. You had them here. A person is very small next to this one over here. Let me see. Look, this is a person. These are the walls, but you have other pictures where, look, for example, these type of walls. And you have to understand, they did this without machines back in the days. So you can imagine how big they were. You know, this literally proves the Bible to be the truth. Look how small people are compared to these big things here. These plates. Here's another person. This is an actual real footage, like a real picture, sorry. And Esau has machines nowadays that still cannot lift these things, these stones. If you go to Bing is a little bit more better concerning searches of that particular space, plus, plot or whatever they call it. And then if you, what the hell? Maybe this one. Okay, cool. Then if you just click around, then you will see more pictures with people. Even these Edomites, they show you stuff like this and stuff like that, but they show themselves. But Lebanon was full of Canaanites, which are the sons of Ham. You know, one of the sons of Ham. What the hell is happening? Okay, see how small a person is compared to these things. These type of pictures you're not really gonna find good on Google. Look, because Google tries to hide these type of things in order to debunk the Bible and make it seem as if it's some kind of fairy tale and stuff like that. But yeah, so this is the same picture that I pulled up here. Where was it? This thing is acting kind of irritating. It's the same thing here. As you can see, the angle, and it's the same thing here. It's this, but then here would be the end, or here. This is it. If you see a person next to it, no. They do that on purpose to make it seem as if it's not that big, but it's very big. You know, you have big openings. Look, this one I was just talking about it. You have big openings and stuff like that. For who is this? You have to imagine. You have to think about, like, back in the days, you would not want such a big opening for your temple to be, because what if raiders come? That's why you had fenced cities back in the days, because people could just come and invade your city and pollute and plunder. And that is what people used to do back in the days, because there was no such thing as like the governing law type of thing. There were laws, but not how you have police now, you know, that check out all over the place. You did have that in Rome, and you did have that in major cities, but it wasn't land wide. It wasn't the whole land. So you might have had certain, like, for an example here, if you go to, let me see something here. So if you go to, like, if you had a place like this, let's say this is a city, not let's say, but I mean, you know, this one, the fenced city, yeah, you would have patrols there, cops, watchers, and stuff like that. Okay, cool, okay. Now you would go to one of their daughter cities to here. You wouldn't really have it like that, you know? Even in America, you didn't really have it like that. Towns, they had their own sheriffs and stuff like that. And there was a few people like a sheriff and a few deputies, you know, back in the so-called cowboy times. You had a sheriff, and then you had a few deputies. But if you commit a crime here, you could just run over to this town over here, and they probably wouldn't even really know you like that, until the word came and spread here and all over the place. And then they would go to the officers here and trying to get help and come and you know, arrest you and stuff like that, you know. If the word didn't come to this town about this person that fled, you know, then the people here would not know. But nowadays, it's straight up television, telephone, internet, all that type of stuff. So the words get spread, and everybody would be looking out for you, trying to arrest you or trying to give you up, especially if there's a reward for money. And that's what they had back in the days. A reward. Reward for bandits. Here, they would have these type of things, these posters. You know, they would have these type of posters and stuff like that to spread the word. But before this, by the time it would be hung up in the city or in the village or in the town, the person most likely would not be there. It's just in case he comes around, or she, most of the time it's a he, and then you could take them. You know, if it's a woman, then most of the time she's a prostitute, or she stole money from someone. You know, prostitute that, you know, did crime or whatever back in the days. So now we go on back to over here. So we didn't conquer those places. King Solomon didn't. Lebanon, he didn't conquer Lebanon, which was the place of the Canaanites. Right, so it stood on the mountain on the other side, and there was a valley between them. And there went out a champion out of the camp of the Philistines, named Goliath of Gath, whose weight was 6 cubits and a span. Now, I don't know exactly how much that is. Whose height? Sorry, wait. I was looking in my book. Sorry, because I wrote down. Let me see. 3 meters, somewhat to like 3 meters. 6 cubit in meters nowadays, but I'm not sure of this. In meters, cubits to meters, 6 cubits. It says here 2.7 meters. Wait, let me see. In feet, it says here 9 feet, but I would think it would be a little bit bigger, because like I said, people were bigger, and Esau is lying to cut things down. You have to understand, a cubit is measured by your elbow to your, you know, your fingertops, but people used to be bigger. So if the modern day cubit is mentioned here, so it says here, cubit generally taken as equal to 18 inches, was based on the length of the arm from the elbow to the tip of the middle finger. Right, so let's say nowadays it's 18 inches. Back in the days, people were bigger, so that 100% shows you that a cubit used to be much bigger because people used to be bigger. And you can catch that here. 2nd Ezra chapter 5 verse. I'll just go straight to the point. 2nd Ezra 5 verse 51. The angel answered Ezra and said, Ask a woman that beareth children, and she shall tell thee. Say unto her, Wherefore art unto they whom thou hast now brought forth like those that were before? So, why are the ones that you are now giving birth to just like the ones that were before, but less in stature? Ask a woman, because back in the days, women, their speciality was making children because that was a blessing unto them. Stature is a person's height. Just like how I'm reading right now about whose height was 6 cubit and a span. I don't know what a span is, but it was more than 6 cubit. So these are measurements, measuring measurements or something like that, right? So, okay. So what is a span? Let me see that too. In measurements, a span in measurements, 22 centimeters, 9 inch. So, okay. So 6 cubits and 9 inch, right? I'm not gonna go into the 9 inch thing because, like I said, it might have been bigger also, but of the cubit I know 100% that it was bigger. It was not 18 inches. It was bigger than that because, like I said, men were bigger, as it shows you right here. So Ezra is told by the angel to ask a woman that beareth children to give birth, right? Say unto her, Wherefore are unto they whom thou hast now brought forth, babies are brought forth by women, like those that were before, but less in stature. So the question is, ask the woman, why are you making children just like how it used to be, you know, but only smaller? How come the children are smaller now when they're born? This baby is really tiny compared to the babies that used to be born 200-300 years ago, 400-500 years ago, 600 years ago, you know, stuff like that. And she shall answer thee, They that are born in the strength of youth are of one fashion, and they that are born in the time of age, when the womb faileth, are otherwise. But if you read everything here, it will show you that the earth is getting older. So the earth itself doesn't have the nutrients and also the frequency in the atmosphere, doesn't have the nutrients to produce big people anymore, because fruits two men. Here, fruits carried by 2 men, biblical. Wow. Okay, carried. Okay. Biblical. What was it again? No, carried. Oh yeah, grapes. Right, so Numbers chapter 13, verse 23. This is when they came into the land of Israel, the land of Canaan, and they saw giants there. Numbers chapter 13, verse 23. And they came unto the brook of Eshcol, which is a river, and cut down from thence a branch with 1 cluster of grapes. So 1 cluster of grapes nowadays, a baby can hold it. You can hold it in your hand. Even a baby can hold it. Here, a child can hold it. Even a baby can hold it. Like, it's not a baby, but I mean like a toddler. A toddler could hold it. And a toddler could hold it with 1 hand. But you know how toddlers are. They also hold a cup of, here, toddler. Toddler hold glasses with 2 hands. This is already dangerous. You're just looking at it like it's gonna fall. Most of the time they hold it with two hands, you know. Everybody knows that. Or women that trying to be cute, you know, hold it with two hands, all feminine and, and stuff like that. But anyway, that some of them trying to be cute, but some of them are. But anyway, going on. So it's relatively small now. It's nothing. You could just hold it in your hand like that. You know what I'm saying? Right. Here's almost a baby. So even a baby could hold it. It's gonna drop it because it doesn't, you know. But a baby can hold it too. That's the point. And they bear it between two upon a staff. So they bear it like this. Wow, this is a great good one, because now you have, how you call the things, you have the so the so-called software AI thing. Well, this is great. I'm gonna use this Bible anyway. But this is what this man, you know what I'm saying? But this is the ancient one, when they used to draw with pictures. This is what we know. This is what I know. This thing, I just saw it. This is for the first time I've seen this. I don't know if it was that big, but I know that it was big. But this is what they were drawing back in the days, right? This illustration and stuff like that. But the point is that they had to carry it with two strong men, and the men of back then were bigger, and they were stronger. And thus, the giants that was in the land, they was actually being fed by the gigantic things that was in that region. Because that region is known as the Fertile Crescent. People think I'm mean. I'm not mean, bro. Anyway, so hey, let's just wait for the Lord, you know. He shall defend. So I'm not gonna say anything. I'm laughing because, you know, I'm a funny person. I make jokes all the time, so I know what I'm doing. Heavenly Father, but I know what I'm doing. Anyway, but this is the place where they went in to go spy out the land in the book of Numbers, chapter. Well, Joshua actually. Wait, spy out the land. Spy out the land. It was in Numbers. Sorry, it was in Numbers, because I'm in Numbers right now. I said Joshua. Sorry, this is Numbers 13. And to spy out the land, it was in Numbers 13 from 17 until 33, and this was from this is verse 23. So wait, sorry, 33, and this is 23. So I'm in the midst of the spying out of the land, and then they saw these things. They saw the giants and stuff like that, and they looked as grasshoppers. Well, let me go here actually. Numbers 13:33. It says, "And there we saw giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight." So they was so big that they looked like grasshoppers. That's not a figure of speech. That's big, because you even had here. Now I'm gonna show Mizraim, which are the Canaanites, their brothers. Now these are the Canaanites that I just read about, the Anak or Canaanites. But Mizraim also had giants among them. And that's just the fact. Hieroglyphs. Hieroglyphs. Glyphs? How do I spell that? Hieroglyphs. I'll do this. If I can't find it here, yeah, let me go to somewhere else, of course. Google is tampered with because, you know, they control the so-called algorithm. Here, giant feed worship. Let me see. Is this it? No, that's not it. That's the devil shit. Giant is, but anyway, hieroglyphs. That's what I want. find it. Okay, I'm not gonna find it here, but it's a little bit more going into what I actually typed in compared to that nonsense that Google pops up with. Let me just do this. Right. Now you can see here a giant in the hieroglyphs drawn on the wall in Egypt. And you can see here a cow. He holds a cow like he would hold a dog with a rope around his neck. And this is not no mistake, or they didn't draw the proportions correct. Because here you can see a cow again, and then you have regular sized people over here. Here you can see a little like a grown person tending to the feet of a giant man upon the hieroglyphs. He's massaging his hand or whatever he's doing. I don't know, looking for, I don't know. Then you have these type of bones that were found that they're not going to talk about, but they found these bones. Even Maximinus Thrax, a Caesar of Rome. Now he's well documented. Maximinus Thrax, what the hell, let me see. Maximum, I don't know, this tracks, I know, that's really good, tracks, height. He was 2 meters and 4, so 2 meters 4, sorry, 2.4 meters in height, in feet, that's 7, he's kind of like 7 foot, 7, 8, 7, 7, 8. You know, 7 foot 8 and 8 or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. In America, it's different, like 7.8 or something, right? Something like that. So he was a big person, but they rarely talk about him. They talk often about Augustus and just other people other than him. They don't really talk about him because, you know, people would be like, huh, what the hell? Right. And they want to cast doubt, because doubt is basically how you destroy Israelites. Peter sank, and then Yahushua said, "O thou of little faith, why didst thou doubt?" Doubt is what's going to cause you to fall. If you have doubt, you're not sure of something. I mean, in this case, of salvation. But Esau brings doubt by making you think that giants ain't real. So if you believe that, then therefore you would not believe the Bible, because it brings doubt concerning the Bible. So that would then therefore bring doubt toward your belief in the salvation of Yahweh Bashem Yahashai. You know what I'm saying? Because you believe everything. Now you also had unbelieving Thomas. He was still one of the elect, but he didn't believe. He wanted to see it with his own eyes before he believed it. So you will have certain Israelites that they need to see it for themselves in order to believe it. Their faith is different. They have a see thought type mentality based, a see with eyes thought type mentality based on, you know, carnal things. But they are spiritual, but they are a little bit more, I just want to see it. I just want to see it. Just show me. But he was still one of the chosen ones of the Lord, unbelieving Thomas. Because he wanted to see the holes in Yahushua's hand. He was like, show me. I don't know about what you're saying. Right. So he was big, and going on. It says here. It shows here. That's another thing. You can pause the picture, but it's blurry, so yeah. These are plants which they were standing next to. And these plants are 90 meters. 90 feet, sorry. 90 foot, which is 27 meters. 90 foot, these plants. I have a documentary concerning this that it was talking about this. These type of plants, these things. These type of things have been found in Siberia that have been longer than 90 foot. These things have been found there. I'll put the link in the description box so you can check it out for yourself. But yeah, look how long they are now, or tall, their height. And here you have them giants of Mizraim. They were able to stand next to it. And then you have a cow here, like I show here, down here, that shows you that, hey, that's real. And there's more pictures and stuff like that. This one is a tomb, and you can clearly see it's in a closed environment. So how did they get it in there without machines? That's because giants put it in there. You can't lift this up without them. You can't. Esau can't do it without his machine. Even with his machine, they can't lift it up. You know, and it's a closed environment. You know how big the machine needs, the machines are and need to be. You have to understand, the machines of nowadays are not to be compared to the machines of the 1990s or the 1400s when they went. No, not the 1400s. Sorry, or the 1800s and the 1700s when they went over there to Egypt to start doing the excavating things. I think it was the 70s. Excavations. No, it was. This is what I want. They used to do these things. Not this one with the. Not this one. The one of the 70s. Excavating. I don't know how you call it. It has a word. Archaeology. Yeah, excavating archaeology. Yeah, I don't know how you spell it, but anyway, these type of things, archaeologists. 1970, and also the 60s and stuff like that. Here, these type of things. That's what I mean. And also, you had what's this funny guy again? The Richard Pryor skit. I'll put this in the description box so you can check it out for yourself also. The early 1900s and stuff like that. So it's even way before the 70s. The 1800s, I actually did mention the 1800s. But the archaeology thing of the 70s is, that's when I started to learn about it, of course. And then later on, I started to realize, like, oh, they went earlier than that because we didn't have internet. In the 90s, we didn't have internet. In the early 2000s, it's around maybe 2004, 2003. That's when really internet was nearly in every house. In the European countries and basically the Edomite countries, so-called first world countries. Then here you can see they go out there and then
walked the earth, making medicine, his blackness did walk of the sea and the animals of the land, and man in his blackness did walk the earth, making medicine. They discovered type. These were all black people, got down.
And they have discovered all this, but they make funny little skits to basically mock you in your face and show you, like, listen, we got this, but what are you gonna do about it? You're not gonna do anything, and you can't, because you can't fight against Satan. He's too powerful. You can't, and you shouldn't want to try neither. But hey, the Lord's gonna take care of that. He's gonna handle that, as He does all things, and He will fight for His. Starting with the nation of Jacob, the elect of the nation of Jacob, of course, and the 1/3. Right. So, going back to over here. Yeah. So I don't need to show a lot of pictures more because it's going to take just time. I'll just put the pictures in the description box so you can check it out for yourself. These are big Hamites from Mizraim. They used to be able to have a leash on a giraffe, but nowadays people are, compared to a giraffe, like basically almost grasshoppers. Well, not, you know, you're just small. And this is how these animals looked. And then you can imagine how big those Hamites then were, for them to be able to take a leash and tie the two legs of the giraffe or the neck, and this looks like a monkey on the giraffe's neck. But anyway, you have these type of gates that I just showed in Baalbek, and then you have a person standing here. Here's the same thing that I showed there. By the way, this is the old YouTube, and they took away this video. You know, cities fenced up to heaven. Deuteronomy chapter 9 verse 1 and 2. These are the cities fenced up to heaven because they were tall. I'm not talking about the buildings here. I'm talking about the pyramids. And you had certain type of cities like that, like Baalbek. Cities fenced up to heaven. But this is Mizraim, and Canaan had them too. He also had cities fenced up to heaven in the land of Canaan, which is the land of Israel. So this is the land of Mizraim. This is Mizraim. This is Egypt. So they had their cities fenced up to heaven. And they had also in Canaan cities fenced up to heaven. And they had in Lebanon cities fenced up to heaven. And Lebanon trees were one of the biggest trees upon the planet Earth. That's why often the Heavenly Father refers to the trees of Lebanon, the cedars of Lebanon. Right, going on. So yeah, here, 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 54. Consider thou therefore also how that ye, Ezra, are less in height than those that were before you. And so are they that come after you less than ye. So, Esau is trying to make the world think that people became smaller. No, wait, what is he teaching? No. He's teaching the opposite. Sorry. I'm teaching that. No, not me. I'm saying that the Bible says that. But the people here, 100 years ago, something like that. People today are taller on average. Their ancestors were 100 years ago. That's correct. You know why? Because it went from big to small to now going big again. That's why something as height is now being really worshipped and being made tall. Something that's tall and being made of fashion. If you're short, you get basically disqualified by a lot of people. And it always used to be like that, but now through social media, there is a pressure, there is a awareness of it. There's an awareness of it. People always, before the internet, they always said something like, oh, he got a Napoleon complexion. So what is that? Napoleon complexion is also known as Napoleon syndrome and short man syndrome. So it was always in existence, but through the internet you have now a influential type of brainwashery going on to where everybody is aware of it. Like no, they were always aware of it, but they're now constantly being made aware of it, like consciously. It was always subconsciously that people were aware of the short man complex. And I knew back in school days and stuff like that, it was the short guys that would straight up try to stab you first and trying to, fight with you because they have to prove themselves a little. I mean, that's not all of them, of course, but the ones that were very violent, those are the ones that a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times they wanted to prove themselves like, yo, don't mess with me because I'm short and I'm going to do things that the big guys don't do. That's why you don't see a lot of big people on death row. They're short. You don't see a lot of tall guys in there. It's not like they don't have to prove themselves too much, but most of the time, because let me see. I don't know what to type in because, like I said, I saw a documentary that. Wait. This is. Look, I'm not trying to go off of their statistics. Fancy word. Statistics, but they did a few things, and I saw a documentary, but I couldn't find it, so I just go off of this one over here. A study of 760,000 Swedish conscripts found that every 10 centimeters of height reduces the risk of violent criminality by 7%. So that's one so-called study. I don't go off of their study, but I just wanted to make a point. So it shows here that previous study conclude that shorter men have a higher chance of being in prison compared to taller men. Like I said, I have seen this. I have seen this. Like the short guys are actually the dangerous guys. And like I said, I saw a documentary which shows that a criminal, a Jake, he was a Jake, and he said, and not just Jake people said it, but anyway, I remember this Jake, but I can't find his interview. I think it was on Flat TV. I'm not sure. I looked it up, but I couldn't find it. He said that when he was in prison, it was you don't see gigantic guys in on death row. You don't see them there. It's the shorter guys are there because they have a lot to prove. They'll stab you in a heartbeat. They'll shoot you quick. They'll punch you quick, and if that don't work, they will get a weapon, and then therefore, you know, they're most likely to be in jail. You know, because they use stuff to hurt you. Because you should mess with them. See, wow, I didn't even see this. Some of the most dangerous men I knew in prison were small guys. Who do you think does most of the stabbing? The small guys. They were quick to get they're quick to get a weapon. But anyway, so 2nd Esdras 5 and 55, and so are they that come after you less than ye, as the creature. So as the creature which now begin to be old, everything is a creature, man, beasts, and stuff like that, and have passed over the strength of youth. Why? Because now the earth is like between 12,000 and 13,000 years old. You could say 12 and 14,000. So the earth is old, as it implies here. The earth is older now, and the nutrients that's upon the planet earth is not able to sustain big people and big things, like how I showed that one grape of the cluster of grape. Well, these are the drawings from back in the days. I always used to use this, but now they have the software called AI, and now people can just draw this up out of their imagination. Well, the computer does it, but it's a good, but it's still not good, because these are clusters, the multiple clusters of grape, so it's not good. It says in the scriptures one cluster of grapes. These are multiple ones. This is also CGI made. Pomegranates. I was thinking about that. I was really thinking about that, because the pomegranates was also mentioned in the same verse. Here, pomegranates. I said pomegranate, sorry. Pomegranates. But yeah, it doesn't mention how big they were, so that's kind of messed up. But still, you can imagine that it was one cluster of grapes. I see here multiple clusters. That's not what it is. You know, he took one branch and broke the branch off, and it says one cluster of grapes. This looks like multiple clusters of grapes. Then it would be more like this, like footballs, and here, football. A football is smaller than a basketball. Right? It's supposed to be. Yeah, it is. A football is smaller than a basketball. Yeah, because I saw this and I was like, huh? That's not what I know. This is a real big football then. Normally footballs are smaller than basketballs, and volleyballs are smaller than footballs. But yeah, this is a rugby thing, so that's not a football. That's a handball. They kicked with the foot, with the feet. But yeah, so yeah, this is still not accurate, you know, because it's not a cluster. It's just a bunch of, grapes bundled up together. But it is a software, so it doesn't think. It just creates what you type in, and if you type in specifically, it will do specifically kind of what you said or typed. Anyway, let me leave it at that. Let me go on. Then said I, Lord, Esdras was speaking to the Heavenly Father through the angel. Lord, I beseech thee, if I have found favor in thy sight, show thy servant by whom thou visited thy creature. And it goes on, of course, in 2nd Esdras chapter 6. But going back to over here, whose height was 6 cubits and a span. So like I said, I don't know how big that is, because they say here And it's not important for salvation's sake, but it's just beautiful because a lot of people look for answers and stuff like that, and Lord willing I will be able to give it, Lord willing. So verse 5, I will be able to at least give you a, let me show you one thing real quick. At least something that you can have your mind at ease with, because a lot of people look for ease in the mind, comfort, or some form of security. You know, 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 9, for we know in part, and we prophesy in part, but when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When Yahushua is come, which is perfect, then the things that we do not know will be known unto us. It will be done away. Right, so let me see. Right, going on. 1 Samuel 17:5. And he had a helmet of brass, is a long chapter. And he had a helmet of brass upon his head. And he was armed with a coat of mail, which is a armor coat of mail. Here. This one, a coat of mail. That you can't really easily stab through. You gotta really thrust it, you know, just to get through. This is basically an armor. It is an armor, not basically, it's armor. And the weight of the coat was 5,000 shekels of brass. 5,000 shekels of brass. Now, I looked it up, but again, I don't know how heavy that is. I have no idea. Because of the weight difference of nowadays. For example, they already have it right now. So, 1 kilogram in LBS. What is it? 2 pounds. But America uses this, like on a, let me see, like 100 LBS weight, you know, weight. So even now it's already confusing. So it's like 45 kilograms, sorry. So that's not that heavy, but if you look at this, you'd be like, damn, it's heavy as hell. But because if you look at this in Europe, it would be very heavy, like if you had to lift that. But what? Oh, that's why. But if you type in 100 kilogram and you look in the pound thing, you'd be like, okay, now you know why I flipped when I saw that. I was like, what the hell? That's a lot. But if a person doesn't know the kilogram and he saw this, he was, what? That's how heavy it is? You can't lift that up. Most likely you can't lift it up. Majority of the people on the planet Earth, they cannot lift this up. But this, yeah, people can lift this up. Not that, you know, they can lift this, you know. Mostly men. But, so that's why I would not know now how this weight would be, because that is a long time ago. The measurements of back then, they differ with the measurements of now. I mean, even in the same timeline that we are in, all you need to do is go 2,000 miles to the left, and then you come up in the LBS territory, which is America, and everything changes there drastically already. Drastically. So, yeah. Just know that this is heavy, and what they would say nowadays is that, let me see, the weight of the coat, that was 5,000 shekels of brass, would be somewhat to 82 kilograms. But I don't know. And what are 82 kilograms, by the way? In 181 pounds, it's what they say, or LBS. So going on. But that's not 100% important. But you can now kind of guess how heavy his clothing were. And he had graves of brass upon his legs, and a target of brass between his shoulders. And the staff of his spear was like a weaver's beam, which is, let me see here. this is a weaver's beam. That. But as you know that people were bigger, then therefore they would make bigger things. So that's why these measurements, they do not really represent what you are seeing now with your eyes, because it must have been bigger. You know, it could have been. Let's just say that. That's even more to say better. It's more likely that it would have been bigger because people used to be bigger, and then people start to get smaller, but now people are starting to get taller again. I can see that because if you see them 15-year-old Jakes around here, they're freaking tall. I'm looking at them like, wow, y'all growing. You 15, 16, 17, yeah, they're taller than me. You know, they're like 2 meters and stuff like that. I'm like, what the hell? And 190 and stuff like that. You know, I'm like, hey, they're like 5 centimeters taller than me and stuff like that. But right, yeah, weaver's beam, and his spear's head weighed 600 shekels of iron. So that's another measurement again, because iron weighs different than brass, but because if I'm correct, iron is thicker, or you know, it's more condensed, or brass is more condensed. Which I'm not sure. Right, let me see. Cubic of iron is 491 lb. A cubic foot of copper is 559 lb. Silver is even heavier than copper. Okay, see, because let me see, at 655 lb for a cubic foot. So if you take all of these three, you make a cubit, you size it up accordingly, like 1 foot, like a cubic foot, they would still weigh different. Well, the same thing with iron and brass. Iron and brass. So I don't know specifically, but just know that it's very heavy, and most likely you couldn't fight with it. I couldn't fight. I'm sure I couldn't fight with it. I'm sure I couldn't. Well, I'm not sure, but I think I'm sure. You know, well, that's not being sure. That's thinking. I think I couldn't fight with it. I'm thinking about, you know, it's 80%, 90%. I might be able to wield it, you know, but I can't fight with it because I'm going to get tired, and the thing is going to be too heavy to fight with. You need something according to your capability in order to lift it up, and to keep it lifted up, and to swing it around and be swift with it, because that's the purpose of having a weapon. You can't be slow. Yeah, if it hits you, you're dead. But, you know, just like a great sword. A great sword, not a fat great sword, actually. Yeah, this one. Yeah, you're gonna have a hard time wielding that around, but if it hits you, you're dead. You're crushed. And this one, yeah, you can be fast with it too, but it's still big. So yeah, but it has an advantage. I mean, it's long, so you know, you can chop a person real good with this one. Going on. 8. And he stood and cried unto the armies of Israel, and said unto them, why are ye come out to set your battle in array? Am not I a Philistine, and ye servants of Saul? Choose you a man for you, and let him come down to me. If he be able to fight with me, and to kill me, then will we be your servants. But if I prevail against him, and kill him, then shall ye be our servants, and serve us. Right, going on. Verse 10. And the Philistine said, I defy the armies of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together. So he was really looking for it. When Saul and all Israel heard those words of the Philistine, they were dismayed and greatly afraid. Now David was the son of that Ephrathite of Bethlehem, Judah. You also had Bethlehem, Naphtali. By the way, that's why it says Bethlehem, Judah. Was it Naphtali? Or was it Bethlehem, Zebulon? Sorry, Zebulon. Yeah, Bethlehem, Zebulon, and you had a scripture for that too. Here, there was another tribe of there was another Bethlehem in the tribe of Zebulon. I know that. Yeah, I think it's here. Yeah, no. Wait, let me see. No, this is Bethlehem Ephrath from Judah. And if you read this chapter, you will see it's talking about Yahushai. But I am looking for the other one, Bethlehem of Zebulon. It's somewhere, but wait. Right, it's here. It says Joshua 19, and here, then, the children of Zebulon according to their families, the lot that they got, and one of their cities was Bethlehem, 12 cities with their villages. This is the inheritance of the children of Zebulon according to their families, these cities with their villages. Bethlehem, Zebulon, or Zebulon, Bethlehem. Oh, Bethlehem, Zebulon. Right, sorry. Yeah, sorry if I'm making that sound because I'm drinking beet juice, grinded up myself, so it's not from the store. So it has the little meat in it, so sorry about that. Whose name was Jesse, and he had 8 sons. And the man went among men for an old man in the days of Saul. And the man went among men for an old man in the days of Saul, right? And the 3 eldest sons of Jesse went and followed Saul to the battle. And the names of his 3 sons that went to the battle were Eliab, the firstborn, and next unto him Abinadab, and the third Shammah. And David was the youngest, and the 3 eldest followed Saul. But David went and returned from Saul to feed his father's sheep at Bethlehem. And the Philistines drew near morning and evening, and presented himself 40 days. So he came to basically defy them 40 days long. And just David was doing his thing. You know, he was just busy doing other things and stuff like that. And Jesse said unto David his son, Take now thy brethren an ephah of this parched corn. Parched corn is this thing. It's corn, but it's burned. Parched corn, it's burned. How to make it? You burn it. And the corn nowadays, well, with this corn you can make popcorn when you cook it, or you actually bake it. So you can kind of say that it was that parched corn. But parched corn is also this. It's just burned. Now if you burn it further, I think it would pop, if I'm correct. It would pop into this. If you heat it up a little bit more, it would pop. Corn popping. Yeah, it would pop. It would here. It would burst and pop. Right. But parched corn is you burn it, I think, before it pops. You also have this is actually very good, you know, but this is not the corn as how it used to be. Because these are our mixed breeds, you could say, mixed breeds of corn. The original corn used to be this one. They call it ceotine parent. This is the parent, and this is the hybrid offspring, And this is the Mite's parent. This is actually 5000 BC. The Egyptians had this, and of course, the Israelites had this. But until this day, you can still find it. Which is breeding with doesnt right here. The wild corn. They still have it.
Wrong. It may start flowering within a couple of weeks.
And it grows fast.
This was crossed onto domesticated corn with the idea of finding useful traits.
Okay, they're mixing it again, but anyway. So breeding with doesnt. Okay, cool. That's okay. I didn't see that. But doesnt. They have it in certain regions in the west. Sorry, in the east of the world. Oh, Mexico. I didn't know that. I do know that. Well, not no, but I know. The point is, they are in the east of the world, because that's not really westernized. You know, those regions over there, parched regions. You know, let me see. See Mexicano, Mexicana actually. You can make a lot of great things out of this one, Mexican doesnt. It looks like a bunch of seafood, but it does have the shape of the ancient ones, like this one. It does have that shape though. And you can make bread out of it. You can make a lot of things out of it. You know, so yeah, that's that. And going on. But parched corn is burnt corn, but the ones that I showed you, not the mice. And these 10 loaves, and run to the camp of thy brethren, because they was there for 40 days. So he wanted to go and feed them, basically. And carry these 10 cheeses unto the captain of their 1,000. And look how thy brethren fare, and take their pledge. Now so, the pledge is this. They're solemn how they undertaken, and let me see. How they're doing. Let me double check that here for you. Pledge. In the book of 1 Samuel 17 and 18, which is 61:61. Pledge token. Bonds, things exchange, surety. How they're doing. So a person who takes responsibility for another's performance of an undertaking, for example, they're appearing in court or paying a debt, the state of being sure or certain of something. Just basically how they are. Now so, how they're doing. And they, and all the men of Israel, were in the valley of Elah, fighting with the Philistines. Because he was defying here they were. He was defying the armies of Israel, actually the army of his Heavenly Father, for 40 days. And David rose up early in the morning, and left the sheep with a keeper, and took and went, and as Jesse had commanded him. And he came to the trench. As the host was going forth to the fight, he shouted for the battle. For Israel and the Philistines had put a battle in array, army against army. And David left his carriage in the hand of the keeper of the carriage, and ran into the army, and came and saluted his brethren. And as he talked with them, behold, they came up the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to the same words, and David heard them. And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him, and were sore afraid, because he was gigantic. He was gigantic. He was large. Could have been like this. Could have been bigger. Literally like bigger like a giraffe. Big like a giraffe. Almost as tall as one. And this is also how they build the hieroglyphs. Sorry, they're not hieroglyphs. The pyramids. You know, built the pyramids. And of course the slaves built the pyramids too. That was in the book of Exodus chapter 2. You have to understand that the Mizraim and the Canaanites, by the way, Canaanites actually, is Deuteronomy 7 and 1. 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. Those are the Canaanites. But the Mizraim were also greater than us. I mean, they already had empires and stuff like that before us. Israel was the last nation to actually become a nation, the last people to become a nation, because they was actually the first. The first shall be the last, and the last shall be the first. So, they were the first as the sons of God in the time of Adam, and they died. So now they are reborn as the sons of the Heavenly Father, which is Yashar Allah, which is He Prince Power, He Prince God, meaning He is a prince with God and with man, meaning He's a son of God, because a prince is the son of a king. The Lord is the king. So, He is the son of God. Yashar Allah means sons of God. Literally, if you just translate it loosely to make it fit the understanding. He Prince God. That's Yashar Allah. He Prince God, or He Prince Power. And a prince is a son, and therefore Yashar Allah means, if you define it, it means sons of God. Sons of God. The sons of God. And God, the Heavenly Father is the king of the whole earth. King of the earth in the book of Psalms. That one. What was it again? The God of the whole earth shall He be called. Yeah, but the king, it actually said. Zechariah 14 and 4 and 9. And Yahweh shall be king over all the earth. In that day shall He be one power, Yahweh, and His name one, Yahweh. But that's not what I'm looking for. It says the king of the whole earth, but it's all good because, going on. And then, what was I? Right, so they were sore afraid because He was big. And the men of Israel said, have ye seen this man that is come up? Surely to defy Israel is he come up. And it shall be, that the man who killeth him, the king will enrich him with great riches, and will give him his daughter Micah, and make his father's house free in Israel. He's going to basically set you up to live the good life, you could say. His daughter Micah. And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine? And taketh away the reproach from Israel. For who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living power, Yahweh? Basically, this uncircumcised beast. So let me make another chapter, another part of this thing, this video.